Hey guys, it's Jeb. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, the sellers accepted another offer. I know. Yeah, we made a strong offer. Here's why your offer isn't getting accepted. Right now, there's a belief out there in the housing market because interest rates are over 7%, homes are sitting on the market longer, people are seeing price reductions out there in the market, that the housing market is crashing and that no one is buying homes. And the reality is, it couldn't be further from the truth. Yes, demand is down. Yes, house prices have moved down in a lot of markets out there, but there are still buyers buying homes. In fact, we're going to talk about two different buyers that I'm working with at the moment, making offers, and what's happening on those deals so that hopefully you can use this information to help make better offers if you're a buyer out there in this market. Now, I don't want to sit here with rose-colored glasses on, acting like there's nothing wrong with the market. Yes, the market is slower, homes are sitting on the market longer, and many sellers out there are having to reduce their asking prices in order to get attention on those properties. In fact, I have one of those listings at the moment that we're likely going to have to lower the price in order to get some more activity on that property. But at the same time, I'm working with some clients that we'll talk about here in just a minute where we're making over full price offers and we're not getting accepted. And I'm going to tell you exactly why that's happening so that if you're a buyer out there, you know what to look for, and hopefully you can use this in order to make better offers. Now, keep in mind, we're just coming out of a market where every house, regardless of condition, regardless of location, was receiving top dollar, receiving a premium price when it wasn't a premium property. And as the market adjusts, these are the homes that are sitting on the market longer. The nice properties, the turnkey properties, the model homes, the ones that have the beautiful grays and whites, the white cabinets, the quartz countertops, the LVP flooring, hardwood flooring, light flooring, whatever, those homes are still fetching a premium and selling at top dollar. Whereas the homes that are ugly, need a lot of work, need the full remodel, maybe they're absolutely nothing to look at, and maybe the location is inferior compared to other homes on the market, well, those homes are sitting. Those homes aren't getting any attention. In fact, no one wants to buy those homes. And I think part of the reason is that people are watching HGTV, they've fallen in love with the current trend out there, and that's what they want to buy. But at the same time, a lot of home buyers out there don't have extra money. They don't have additional money on top of their down payment, on top of their closing costs, to do the work necessary in order to make the home the way they want it. So in their eyes, it's less expensive to buy the property the way they want it versus trying to make the frog a prince, if you understand what I'm saying. So I want to take a minute here and talk about two of the deals in the last week that I've been working on, that we made offers on. So not only can you gauge the activity out there in the market, but you can probably understand why our offers didn't get accepted at the same time. Now, I always like to point out, real estate is local. I'm located here in Southern California in Orange County. My market might be a little bit different than your market. So just make sure you're paying attention to what your market's doing, and at the same time, working with a professional in that market that understands it so that they can guide you in the right direction. And if you don't happen to have a professional, there's a link in the description below. The very first offer I want to talk about today is actually my brother and sister-in-law. They actually sold their property about 5 months ago, received top dollar for that property, and have been sitting on the sidelines renting, waiting for the right opportunity, the right house to hit the market. And they've been making offers over the last 4 to 5 months on properties that met everything they were looking for. But unfortunately, they've been coming up short. Why? Well, the first reason is because they're looking for the house that we talked about earlier, the turnkey model home that's in picture perfect condition, the one that you see on HGTV. And they're looking for it in neighborhoods where there's a lot of new construction. And unfortunately, there's still a lot of competition in the current market for that type of property. So even though we've been making offers at the asking price, above the asking price, waiving contingencies, doing all of these things, we've come up short. So over the last couple of weeks, nothing has really popped on the market. Then last week, we saw one in the community they wanted to be in, right size, right style, just a picture perfect property, if you will, across the board. Now this property was priced at $1,250,000, and when we ran the comps, and we thought it was actually based correctly based on fair market value. So we actually went above the asking price and made an offer at $1,260,000, which was $10,000 above that asking price. Now they're putting 25% down. We came in with a very strong deposit of 3%. We shortened all of our contingencies in the offer, made a really strong offer. Didn't ask for termite, didn't ask for a home warranty. In fact, we were giving the seller a 30-day free rent back. And in my initial talks with the agent and submitting the offer, it sounded like we have a pretty good chance of it getting accepted. Only to find out about 24 hours later with the agent calling me that they had already received an offer over $1.3 million. So not only did we not get the property by offering $10,000 above the asking price, we were actually blown out by somebody offering at least $40,000 more than we did in a market where house prices are supposedly crashing. So if you're out there buying, don't just look at the headlines. Don't just look at home prices and say, well, if it's on the market now, you should be able to offer significantly less because no one's buying homes. No, like I said, the nice properties are still getting picked up. People are still offering top dollar. It's the ones that aren't cute, aren't in a great location. Those are the homes that aren't selling. And in fact, those represent the biggest opportunity currently in the housing market, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. Now, the second property I want to talk about, we actually didn't make an offer, but we were at the point where we were getting ready to make an offer. The home is here in Huntington Beach. It's a condo. It's located down on Pacific Coast Highway, which is very, very close to the ocean. In fact, this was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath property in a very nice building where 2-bedroom, 2-bath properties don't often come up. And my clients have been looking consistently for about 6 months. This is a second home for them. In fact, they live in Canada. And so last week I did a virtual showing of the property on my phone, showing them exactly what the property looked like, and it piqued their interest. So they made a special trip down here on Friday from Canada just to see this property. And fortunately for them, it didn't disappoint. It was exactly what they wanted to see. And so after touring that property and showing them a couple of others that were on the market, they actually wanted to take that night and think about it. And so they called me the next morning saying, hey, listen, we see there's an open house. We're actually going to go by the open house and see it one more time before we leave, and then we'll talk to you about making an offer. Well, unfortunately, I reached out to the agent later that morning and said, hey, listen, my clients are actually going to come back by before they fly out. And she called me back almost immediately and said, we actually have a seller counteroffer out at the moment. So by the time we saw the property on Friday to Saturday morning, they had already received an offer and sent a counteroffer out, and were pretty close to accepting it. So later that day, the agent actually reached out to me and told me that they had already accepted an offer. And I relayed that to my clients. They were bummed because they didn't even get an opportunity to participate. So within a week of going on the market, this property had already accepted an offer. And now this one's a little bit different because when we looked at the fair market value on this property, it actually looked to be a little bit overpriced based on where the last one had sold. This one was listed at $1,150,000. And when we looked at the comps, there was a similar property, similar size that had closed back in January at $1,120,000. And in fact, that property was dialed in. It was beautiful inside. Whereas this property was nice, but it could have still used some upgrades. Whereas the property that closed back in January, you wouldn't have needed to do a thing to it. And I told my clients, well, that property closed back in January. Interest rates were much, much lower then. In fact, it probably went under contract back in December when rates were still in the 3% range. So looking at today's values, it's probably not worth $1,150,000, but the reality is it's probably going to sell close to the asking price because of the location, because of how rare these properties are in this building, because they never come up. So in their mind, they already had an idea that it was going to sell close to the asking price, but I don't think they had any clue that it was going to sell this fast. In fact, I didn't have a clue that it was going to sell this fast. I thought it would take a little bit more time to happen just because the market has slowed down and interest rates are so high. But like I said a minute ago, those two things right there, higher interest rates and the market slowing down, does create opportunities in this environment. So if you're a buyer out there looking, the opportunity is in those homes that have been sitting on the market longer, those homes that need work, the homes where you have to look past all the remodeling, all the cosmetic stuff in the inside. Those are the homes, in my opinion, that really represent the opportunity in the current environment.